Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the fourth episode of the Lunker LCS. Wait, can we read? Okay, wait. What episode are we on? Just so I know.
We're
For
episode 4.
Yeah, keep that in. We're keeping going.
No. We're not keeping this
We're
in.
rolling.
No. Oh. Okay. But we are on the fourth episode, right? Am I
Yes,
saying?
sir. We're on the 4th.
Okay.
It's been so long. The years have gone by.
Yeah. All right. Well, welcome back to the fourth episode. I'm here with my co-hosts Eddy
Yes, sir.
and Brandon.
Yep.
Week 2 of LCS just wrapped yesterday, and we had a lot of different things happen in this split. A bunch of unexpected outcomes in games, new picks with live patch, and we're just gonna break it all down for you.
Undefeated teams lose. Winless teams get a win. Brandon Dynamite. When Brandon said that at the end of the week, I'm just like, wow. Is this a good or bad
For
thing for the
fantasy?
region? No, for
Yeah, just fancy. LCS in general.
For LCS, yeah. For fantasy, I think some of us are still undefeated.
Well, no. For fantasy, it's the flip. All the teams that won in week 1 won in week 2.
Yeah, they won. Yeah. So I'm still pushing. I'm 2-0. So first, before we even start, I want to give a quick shout out to Grumble, our grammar/readability man for our descriptions. Love him to death. Also our part-time thumbnail man. We love you, Grumble.
Thank you, Cole.
Cole. The Cole. Thank you.
Cole.
When are we getting a logo though, team? Just like the dot.
We have a great logo.
Maybe when we start paying Grims.
Yeah, I think that's when we actually pay him.
Yeah,
He'll make us one.
We're not paying him. He's
Yeah.
gonna do it for free.
A bit. What even would our logo be though? That's the thing.
That's what I'm thinking is because like I feel like it would form an identity with the group. You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking
Viewers.
past just like silhouettes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm thinking a real logo, like something.
The thing
something that
is-
incorporates us. It doesn't even have to be
Lunker's like an actual word. We use it as like a portmanteau. McCord bunker.
Yeah, because
But
Lunker is short.
Lunker is an actual word.
You know what?
An exceptionally large
after this
specimen of
episode,
something.
I want to see if I can I'm gonna get paper and a pencil. I'm gonna start
Viewers,
drawing something.
hit the comment section. Let
What's
us
it-
know what you want to see the logo to be. Give us some ideas. We
And
will
hit
not
the
pay you
like,
for them,
subscribe,
but
but
we
you're
want the
done here.
ideas. Yeah, hit the bell, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. All right, and then put a little pop up with the it's like
Yeah.
on the bottom row, and it just like a
I'll
little
put
pop up
like
says
7
subscribe,
of
and then
them
they
on
click
us.
the
I got
button.
you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll get him.
Not doing that.
That was beautiful. But anyway, week 2, team.
Yeah.
Live patch. Gotta love it.
14.2.
We were the only ones on 14.2 this week out of all
Because
the
we're
regions.
better than everyone else.
We're way cooler. We're in the future. We're way ahead.
We're in the
Mhm.
present. They're in the past.
Oh,
It was,
well,
it was a very standout week. There were a lot of games to nitpick, a lot of like fantasy to discuss. I don't even know where to begin.
Week 1, or sorry, not week 1. Day 1, I'd say mostly went as expected. I don't think. I mean, you had NRG beat 100 Thieves, Cloud9 beat Dignitas, FlyQuest beat TL, and then people probably. I mean, your 2 winless teams. One beat the other, so I don't think that's like either one would have been surprised on either end. But day 2, things got stirred up a little bit. Dig 100 Thieves, same thing as the other one. That could have been a toss-up, but, Cloud9 pulling out a draft of all time, the draft of all time, some might say. In fact, LS said it was the most interesting LCS draft of all time. Could be right, but also that draft sucked, which is probably why it was interesting.
I feel like that's the word that most analysts or like league YouTubers use whenever they say a draft is like bad. They don't say bad anymore because anything's bad in this game. They say interesting because it's funny.
Yeah, it was funny. A friend of mine, I was talking to him earlier today about it, and he was breaking down because he was watching the LS co-stream at the time actually, and so I was asking about what LS was talking about, and when Insanity actually locked in that Scion, apparently LS had come to him for coaching about that, and so he broke down the Scion mid pick for him, and they had talked about it. Why it's good, what kind of matchups you can bring into it, or what kind of matchups can be picked against it. And he says part of the reason LS really liked the pick is, one, it'd be a new patch. People are prepping a limited number of things. Two, for things that will be prepped, he said he was talking about, of things that realistically maybe a mid laner would pick and have ready would be good. He said Gwen and Vayne, right?
Yeah.
Could be ones. I mean, there's other picks out there, but it's like if you're not expecting Scion mid and you're going into your week, you're like, okay, what's good this on 4.2 new patch? I gotta figure it out. And then you see Scion mid, you're like, well, I had this and this champion prepped, and those aren't gonna do it good into Scion mid.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll just go Vayne. So LS liked the Vayne pick, but obviously, I don't know if Vayne was necessarily the downfall of the draft, because I was thinking about this earlier. I was like, well, what if I think Vayne was R5, right?
Yes, I don't think it was a draft gap. I think it was
Yeah.
just a blabber gap. Blabber just had an off day on Maokai of all champions. When we were watching the game, Brandon over here literally mentioned, "Oh my God, this dude just caught his second loss on Maokai like ever in pro play," and I'm like, "Holy crap, what the fuck? What is happening?" He just had so many. He missed so many QTEs bot lane. If you look back at the game, there was that one dive that he tried doing with his ultimate. I think he tanked too many turret shots, and that just ended up in like them getting a kill. But I think 2 of them ended up dying, and I think Vulcan was the one that got the kill, which is super unfortunate. Yeah, the game was lost there. They burger flipped their game there, and then that was it.
Yeah. It's just rough because once SR got 3 grubs, or sorry, not 3 grubs, 6 grubs. They had Scion, they have Udyr, C9 had, and this is why I think it's a draft gap, because they had no wave clear against that. And what are you gonna do against Scion with 6 grubs when you can't just clear waves and he's just smacking turrets in front of you? And then on top of that, now this is not a draft gap. This is just, it could have been things that led to a draft gap, but then they get Baron, and then there's actually, and then the no wave clear you already had turns into even more no wave clear, because now they're Baron minions, and so, they just, stood in front of them and just knocked down turrets, and there was nothing they could do, and I think that was the biggest issue with the draft. So I was thinking,
I still think it was winnable. The draft was kind of weird it was very awkward for C9.
100% it was winnable, but it was still a draft gap in the sense that I think the draft was not good. Now, it was Udyr B1, and then they did Scion R3, and well as
Scion R2, no?
R2? Whatever, it's the same thing.
Nah.
But
yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Well, actually, no, it's not. I'm lying.
Because didn't they do Udyr Scion?
Oh, wait, no, it is the same thing. It was B. It wasn't R. It was B. B1. Yeah, because I had the sides right, and then I. Okay. But yeah, it was B2 or 3, either one. But was it Kalista Renata R1-2 for Cloud9? I'm pretty sure it was, right?
I'm sure I would have to look back.
Yeah, I'd have to look back.
I'm gonna pull that up right now while you guys are doing. But assuming it is, I think one thing that could have been more interesting would have been like an APC maybe to go against it. But yeah, no, they had already locked in Kalista. Aatrox Kalista was their B1-2, so you really couldn't have done an APC.
Berserker doesn't scream mage bot lane player to me anyway.
But he did. Well,
it
doesn't scream mage bot lane to me.
LS did make him play Karthus.
He did, but it's like that's not Berserker's
It's been a while.
identity. It doesn't feel like Berserker's identity.
Neither does Vayne mid, but it's sometimes you gotta play to a draft. And
I will say that game is Kalista's first loss in NA this season.
Yeah.
That's a big fun fact for y'all. Yep. She's not broken. Let it be known. The 100% win rate is gone.
I think it's her first loss, but the champion with their first win.
Don't say Scion.
Don't say Scion. I'm not going to say Scion. I already talked about Scion. I'm talking about Karma. Karma got a huge buffs.
Oh yeah, break down the
I went to
buffs.
live. Basically, she just got AP buffs on her Q, and then something else. I think it's just their shielding in general, but I'm not really sure. I need to look back on that patch. But she basically just got really strong buffs in that, and since it's live patch, you immediately go straight to it. And basically, Karma was banned every single game except that one game, the one FlyQuest game, where Busio picked its support. But it could have been a flex. And it did pretty strong. It's been banned on the rest of those every day.
Imagine like
Last
because
week.
her Q already slows, right? Now imagine her mantra Q, like her RQ, just being used on you, and she has like malignance. It's so painful to have to deal with. And if you want to try and like trade back, her shield's like it's got in like the shield's like base shield like was increased, and like as you level it up, she gains more and more. That you can't even trade with her. It's so impossible unless you're expecting something like important.
And I forgot to mention that Ezreal also got buffed with that patch. So Ezreal Karma became a strong patch. And also that Karma was able to be flex in all roles, but she only got played support because she's banned every other game. But she's very strong flex, can be played mid, can be played top, can be played sub, even bot APC.
Was it just Q and W that got buffed for Ezreal? Was it just that?
I think so.
Okay. Actually, I want to double check. Because I swear something else. I think it was either E or R that also got buffed. Because this man got everything. This man came with the full package. Like, I'm talking the deluxe deal. Okay, yeah. True Shot Barrage also got buffed.
Oh, True Shot Barrage also.
Okay.
So yeah, Ezreal finally got to see some relevance, which is pretty big. I like that. Does that mean I finally get to play Ezreal in our games now? Now that I've seen it in live.
Yeah, it's the whole point.
I guess so.
See it in live patch, you get to bring it to the Rift.
Speaking of live patch, I found it very funny that I think in the last episode I talked about how I wanted to know how the live patch would affect players. What was that? Who I forgot which player it was that talked about. Blabber talked about how he felt it was very weird because after they do drafts inside the rooms, because talk about how they have like referees there as they're drafting, and after that you're not allowed to go like on your phone. You're not allowed to have any connection to the outside world. You can still like play against your teammates, kind of like what Jensen did with Bwipo. I believe week 1 when they fought the Zac mid. It was either week 1 or week 2 that they fought the Zac mid. But it's very funny to me how Blabber was like, "Oh, I just can't listen to music, so I can't lock in as well anymore," which is really rough. I just thought that was really funny.
I thought you weren't allowed to.
No, you're not. You're not allowed to listen to music. Like they can't.
No. Weren't allowed to play against a teammate. You weren't allowed to lock in and try to practice the matchup after.
No, you can. You can.
I heard that. Oh, they were talking about that.
You can't do it against like somebody outside, like your team. No. Like you can't do that. It has to be like against a teammate. Because Bwipo was preparing Jensen for the Zac matchup.
Oh, okay. Because they were talking about it with Licorice when he was on, and he was like, "Oh yeah, it would be cool to be able to practice afterward." And they were like, "Oh yeah, you're not allowed to do that."
You can't do it against like, let's say you want to invite, I don't know, like some random on your friends list to try and practice against. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, who said this though?
Blabber talked about how you can't listen to music, like he just straight up can't. But Jensen did. He talked about it on Pros.
On Pros. Okay. Yeah, it's cool.
Shout out to
one of the things.
Pros is so cool, dude.
Shout out to Pros.
Pros is so good. There's a new one there.
Yeah, I was watching the new one. Was great in it. I liked hearing a lot from him. I thought he was interesting.
Yo, people weren't kidding when he said he was good at English, by the way.
Oh, yeah, he's very fluent.
Hell, this man, he's got it.
Yeah, he didn't know preparation and what was the other word? Oh, complaint. But other than that, yeah, he got everything.
That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, exactly. When are you ever gonna need preparation and complaint?
Yeah, I mean, the other thing, okay, where JJ played was supposed to slay Nami, and then as soon as I saw that, I tried it out myself, and it also felt really good. I mean, Eddy played it in our norm games with Lucian Nami.
I noticed that you built it. Normally I go Not is it Blood? No, not Blood Song. What's the Dreammaker? Is it Dreammaker?
Dreammaker.
Yeah.
And normally you get Dreammaker because you get the extra damage in the defense, but I think like I saw what Cordy J do it and I tried it and it makes sense. I mean, also the casters talked about it the same way. They said because it gives like a ton of move speed and also some health, so you have some sustain. But the move speed is a big thing because you can go in and go out very fast in quick trade.
Yep. So if a trade looks like it's going south, you need to get yourself out of there. But if it looks like you get a lot out of it, you're in there. You've already earned it.
Mm-hmm. Well, Aaron, what about you? What stood out to you? What anything?
Anything new that I saw? Okay, well, obviously I'm going to talk about Bwipo, because Bwipo has brought 4 different champions in his 4 games. All but one of them are kind of unique. Obviously, I mean, we've seen Olaf in pro play, and Darius you get seen, but I still haven't been. I've never seen it in LCS recently. Now, was the pick good? Maybe the pick was good, but he did not do good on it. But then obviously Mordekaiser was another huge, interesting pick, I thought. Honestly, maybe I've looked at some of the builds sometimes, but not for the Darius or Mordekaiser. I was looking at his Olaf build, which was interesting, and I've been wanting to try it out because he was doing Ghost TP, rush plated steel caps, and then did experimental hexplate into Sterix into Jack Show with and I thought that was nice. TP is definitely, or Ghost TP is definitely just like a more competitive environment. TP is super useful of a spell. He's good enough to where he can figure out where he doesn't need flash. But because a lot of people, I mean, there was no Ravenous Hydra on the Olaf, and a lot of people are building Ravenous Hydra into experimental exploit and then do tank items or something like that. Or maybe they do Ravenous Stridebreaker, but pretty much every single build I've ever seen with Olaf is just something with Ravenous. So I'd have to look up why he didn't do Ravenous, or try to, ask people about that. But that definitely stood out to me. I've not tried that yet with Olaf.
A recent pickup for you?
Yeah, recent pickup. Definitely because of Bwipo. Just because I thought it was interesting.
I mean, most of your picks are because of pro.
Oh no, yeah. Actually, I did make a list of this. If we wanted to bring this out, because I was curious one night. I was like, I wonder why I started playing whatever champions. And besides Ahren and Gwen, my 2 most played champions, because those I just picked up because I was like, I'm playing top lane. What champions do I want to play? And those were the first 2 that stood out to me. Every other champion is something related to pro play, right? Like Jax, I saw Jax get picked a ton, and I'm like, okay, I want to pick up Jax. Gnar was because of Bin at MSI. Olaf was because of Bwipo recently. Kennen was just seeing Kennen everywhere in pro play. I haven't really got a chance to try this out too much, but I've been looking at wanting to try a little bit of Yone as well, because Zeus, when he pulls that out against Aatrox, it's always pretty interesting.
Broken Blade too.
Yeah, Broken Blade. I was watching. Well, Broken Blade picks it, but I'm talking about like where I wanted to get the pick from, because I was watching people put out videos on like he was breaking down Zeus versus that matchup and how he was playing it. Poppy and Rumble were just pro play. I mean, I don't really like Rumble, but it's broken. And then a pick later down the line, maybe, that I want to pick up would be Akali. That's because of JoJo. Jace is, Zeus and JoJo. And then Gragas is JoJo. But mainly anything that can be flex mid, it's because I watch JoJo and I'm like, I really want to play like JoJo, but I'm a top laner.
Take a shot every time he says
mid lane.
June.
No,
or
it's
any
not.
Variation of the name.
Don't die, guys. Don't die. Please. Because I'm like, I hate mid lane, but I want to play the picks I'm watching my favorite player play. What does he pick that I can flex? And I try it all the time, and I usually don't really like the picks that much. Like Jace is kind of not my champion. Gragas is kind of cool, but whatever. Long tangent about me for no reason, but yeah, I tend to pick up champions that I see just like always in pro play.
Are you telling me that
I'm usually not into
really working for you?
Well, yeah, that maybe, but also like I just am never interested in champions I don't see in pro play. I think it's all just because that's my favorite way to consume League of Legends anyways, is just watching pro play. So it's a lot easier to be like, that's cool and fun. And if I pick up the champion then I know what they do more, and then I can like watch them or pro players play it even like better. Like
And then you can
before I
understand
knew.
what you actually see.
Yeah,
Like, whoa.
exactly. Wow.
That's why Fudge overheats here.
Exactly. That's why Fudge dives with Jax and kills himself.
I'm gonna move a topic up here.
I will
Switch this
say,
around.
the only thing that I can really take from the new patch, at least, that I find exciting, but is kind of small, I think is just, like, well, I wouldn't say the patch, but, like, this week, at least, it's just Berserker on Callista specifically. It's the way this man puts his runes. I noticed it more or less. Whenever I go Callista instead of coup de grace, well, instead of last stand, I always go coup de grace, even though last stand is an option. This man will always go last stand, and I think that's because of what's her face, Renata, because of Renata's W. I don't know the name of it, but yeah, the one that like
bailout.
Yeah, bailout. The one that like technically revives you but doesn't fight or die. Yeah, y'all know what I'm chatting about.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that paired with like last stand, I think is really huge because Callista does thrive when her health is like lower. I don't know, like you already know that your health is low. You're already throwing spears at somebody, even though their health doesn't look like it's going away. Those spears will mean something later, and I think that's pretty huge. Whenever he runs cleanse ever at all on a champion, he always brings Cosmic Insight just so he has it like at the ready with every fight. Or not specifically every fight, but every objective timer, which is really big. I think I might try that a little more, at least give that a shot, because I've started to change my play more or less, not around like when we necessarily need to fight, but when objectives come up and if a fight will happen, or are we just trading something on the other side of the map. So I thought that was pretty huge for Berserker in both of his Callista games this week. Even if he did lose one, there wasn't a lot to collect there, and even the win was kind of like not enough to get data on because it was a little bit of a stomp. I think that was the one against Dignitas, but yeah, I still like to see it.
Well, since we're talking about games, let's talk about and win rates and stuff. Let's talk about a big standout of
Don't do it.
win rates in the West.
Don't do it.
Lucian.
Frauds. We're frauds.
So Lucian is a standout champion in Western regions specifically as the LEC, LCS, and even LLA and CB Law. Well, first off, LCS, we don't have a win on Lucian in any of our games.
I think LEC has one win, I think.
They have one win, and then I think CBL has two, and LLA has one, and they have like 7 more extra games in there.
For clickbait, we'll leave it at 0.
Yeah, 0% in LCS.
Yeah.
But in the West as a whole, it's like 4 wins.
Yeah, it's so low, dude. I'm looking at the stats. This dude Lucian has been picked 9 times in the LEC and only won 1 game. And in LCS, he's been picked 5 times and has fat goose egg for a win rate. I have no words.
Yeesh.
I don't even know what to say. I was hearing on the dive, Meteos was just like, yeah, this champion's not good because all he is a dopamine hit. Whenever you bring first strike, it's like, ooh, money with Tidecaller Blessing. That's so cool. And then it's like later on in the game, you're like, wait, this guy's not exactly chucking me out anymore. We can just run at him, right?
Yep.
So yeah, I think a really big thing that might stand out, I think pro players might veer away from first strike and try PTA instead, because PTA's value will never go away on Lucian. It's great early. I think it's good mid and late game. I think you bring it when you're fighting like very heavy frontline. Obviously, like if you're fighting a lot of squishies, first strike is still really huge. But in pro play, you're not always going to be fighting squishies. So I think PTA is going to be a thing that's ran on Lucians. And if he does, the win rate will actually see like blue now and not just red.
Hopefully. I mean, it's a big problem when Wild Turtle is the big standout of Western Lucians.
Oh my god, he just lost. I think
he lost both of them too.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I think he brought first strike. I think he did. Like that's the depressing part too, is I don't even think he wanted to, but he did.
What is it? It was SR versus.
Yeah, here I'll start SR versus first strike. SR versus FlyQuest. He brought first strike.
Mm-hmm.
In week
2-4-1.
one. In week one, he fought. Oh, where is it? Ah, shit. Trying
It's
to look
FlyQuest
for it.
2. FlyQuest
Yeah.
is a good game.
Against Liquid. Yeah, he also brings first strike, and I don't think this is going to work anymore. Like PTA is going to see relevance, and if it doesn't, Lucian's win rate's not going to get any better. At least I don't think it will in NA.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't know too much about CB LOL or LEC to like say that for, but like in NA, I think PTA is going to be the new thing. Like even if I'm calling it now, I will never see Berserker play Lucian on me ever because this combo is like it's so common to fight against. Like you can just compare this to like fighting Joker and Smash Brothers. Like everybody knows this matchup, dog. There's nothing special about it. Like it's all smoke and mirrors. There's nothing special about this pick.
I'll be honest though, if it's good enough for like the best Korean players in the world, it's good enough for Berserker. It does not matter. Everyone knows the matchup. It's still good.
Everyone
they are going to pick it.
Yeah, but Korea, there's such a big skill gap, dude. Korea's a completely different story because like it's so. I think Reina said it before, and I think I feel him for watching for highlights. There's such a huge gap between like the top 5 teams and the the bottom 5 teams. Like it's like the difference between like Diamond 4 and Diamond 2. Like there is a gap. I'm talking Grand Canyon size. Like you cannot overcome this at all. Yeah, I don't think. That's more or less my take on Lucian right now. It's not good. It is not good at all.
Well, we shall see.
But picks aside, actually not even picks aside. So bring the picks in, bring the bands in. What happened in Sleeper, team? What happened?
Well, the big thing was
Brandon, we gotta start with us since we both fought each other in fantasy. We both the only pick / ban that both of us earned. When I picked Cassante, you banned Cassante. I pick Azir, you ban Azir. After that, we took shots in the dark and hit nothing.
Yeah, we didn't get anything.
Nothing.
You're telling me players played Cassante and Azir?
In pro play?
No way.
No way. Yeah, looking at these points, I mean,
yeah. C9's lost to Shopify and even like FlyQuest lost to NRG. I think that is what sold you.
Yes.
Well,
Fly's lost sold
Kinda.
you, Brandon. Yeah, If Fly didn't lose, I guarantee you win this week.
I do agree with that 100%. It's definitely amazing of B-Boy.
On the flip side,
second game.
I don't know if you can. Wait, no, legitimately.
Mhm.
I don't think you can say that Fly choking because Eddy. Obviously, if Fly won, you would have won. But if we're gonna play it like that, you kind of also have to play it like, oh well, Cloud9 obviously should have beat SR, so give you points there, and then Eddy's got that bot lane. So it's more like if everything should have gone how it should have played out, I still think Eddy probably would have won. You needed someone else to like win a game and get a ton of points, like.
Yeah, like SR should have beat Immortals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, can I push an agenda here? Yo, the reason why I did not pick up Jensen, this dude Jensen picked Corki and earned almost 10 points. a KDA of 1, 4, and 2. I told you he does nothing on champions that are not control mages. Don't get it twisted. He cooked on Orianna against TL. 35 points. That's huge. Like, this guy had a scoreline of 1, 1, and 7, which is typical for Orianna because all you're doing is, like, putting the ball on your engage and then just R when the time is right. Free assists, free kills, whatever. But, yo, Corki? Yeah, no, this dude wasn't earning anything, bro. Spare change.
As Palafox says, Jensen usually saves those those showings for scrims, so we'll have to see.
But yeah, I mean, okay, so B-Boy at this point, okay, the C9 was definitely a shot. He definitely performed really well. I do think he performed very poorly in IMT games.
That was the worst game I've ever seen in the LCS.
IMT?
That IMT SR game.
Dude.
It was horrid.
I think the IMT game was pretty bad too.
It was actually, that game was fun to watch because it was like back-to-back action, and then I remember, this is my region. Like this is my region.
We're doomed.
Fuck,
It's
we're
so
doomed,
over.
bro. This region is done.
And it would have been okay if Cloud9 was stomped them, but then Cloud9 loses. You're like, oh, okay, so we're just never gonna win anything.
That's the concerning part too, man. Like I know C9 was trying things, and that's fine. But like, you know how if you're trying things and things go south, okay, what is your response? And then I said our response is Blabber just failing every QTE with every twisted advance that this man laid out. Oh, so painful. But yeah, no. Fantasy was honestly like near the end, banger. It was a banger.
Yeah. Well, Ahren, what about your side of fantasy? Since
My side of fantasy was more stressful than it should have been. And in the end, I still did win by a nice little margin, but it was looking really rough.
I would like to say to
For
our
a while
viewers, this dude Ahren was sweating bullets. The only reason why he hated this week was because Dignitas and Immortals were just farming points. Regardless of whether they won or lost, they were just farming points. Like Dignitas was out here just taking whatever they could.
There was way too much on stake for me in this game because since draft started up until today, I had been talking about how literally nothing you can do matters against the person I was playing against, Mario, because his team was so terrible. I wouldn't have to do anything, and I would win regardless. And then Immortals beats Shopify, and Armeo gets like 500 points. Okay, wait, not actually
72.
I don't want to be
total,
hyperbolic.
58 in one game.
I might not know how points work, but yeah, 60 points in one game. And then he's got Ole too, who gets 42 points as a support, which is insanely high. And then I'm sitting here, day ends, I'm like 20 points up, right? But I'm like, okay, it's fine. We should be good as long as no one chokes. And then I'm like, oh, but I have Fly and NRG playing against each other, and I got 3 of those players. So I'm like, okay, well, they're gonna trade low points, and I got JoJo, but JoJo's gonna cook. It won't matter in the end because I got C9 and we'll be okay there. And then they lose, and JoJo gets me no points on day 2, and I'm like, okay.
I would like to say that Mario also didn't pick or ban anything for mid lane. He didn't pick anything for ADC, and yet because we turned off. So on Sleeper, you can turn off the automatic pick and ban. I think that was very fair for us to do because if you're not there to actually pick or ban, then
that's on
why are you in the league? But this dude Mario he could have potentially beaten Ahren without picking or banning like certain places. That's insane.
Now I did. I won by 40 points, which is nice, but it did not feel that way. It was way stressful.
This dude is battered and bruised.
Yeah,
he goes 2-0 for the week.
You don't know what it's like.
He's been battered.
Going up again. Hey. Now, I've had only crappy fantasy years, and the one year my team looks good, I thought I was going to lose to the guy with 4 Dig Immortals players, so I was stressed. But we pulled out.
Yeah.
Thank God. One thing I do want to point out, obviously, and this is back to how the games have gone, obviously we haven't had the full round robin, so that'll be a thing to talk about more, but while it's these numbers and I can make my point and cherry pick, my picks exactly correct so far. I want to say, top 3, everyone's in sections. We had the top 3. I had Fly, NRG, C9. Guess who's all tied for first? Those 3 teams. And then I'm like, okay, here's your next section. SR, and 100 Thieves. Is it SR and not 100 Thieves? My bad.
No.
TL.
Yeah.
I meant TL and 100 Thieves is your next section. I'm like, oh, who's in that section? TL 100 Thieves is that little tier 2. And the bottom 3, SR, Immortals, Dig. Those are your bottom 3 all tied. So before the round robins end and everyone's played, all I'm gonna say is, hopefully I continue being right. We'll see.
I hope not. You'll never shut up about it.
I do love being right. It is one of my top 3 favorite experiences.
We dislike you.
I know.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Armadeon Channing for winning this week with the most points.
Dear
and
God.
me with the least. but we'll ignore that.
Can we talk about how Shani just cashed out on Social Security, just picking a zero on Palafox?
We'll put the Palafox points in the thumbnail. Don't worry. I'm serious about this. I got the screenshot. I'm putting the Palafox points in the thumbnail.
And double shout out to Ryoto.
Yeah.
For beating Rain.
Yeah, that was actually the stressful game, by the way.
That was the upset of the week.
Yeah.
That was also a stressful game, but Rain forgot to pick for XU and forgot to ban for Rich. Also, he forgot to ban for Isles.
This man was not paying attention.
Can we talk about how people that don't pick or ban are like still like close in like the points race? Like during games.
Yeah, I remember. So basically what happened was it was like an hour before the game. He's like, oh, shit, I got to do my pick and bans. And then he loaded in. It's like, oh, I can't do it for the dig players. He's like, oh, it's fine. I'll still win this week.
Does he know? You're not winning. Not today.
Yeah, I just can't believe Ryota's gone 2-0 with this roster that he has. But
Ryota's? I mean, he won. Did he win spring last year, or what did he do?
I think he
got
won
second.
I think he got second. Didn't you win, Brandon?
I won. Yeah,
you won.
But luckily, for me, I get to play him. So yay! I think one thing that did not get planned out at all, but happened to be perfect, is week 1, me and Brandon played. Week 2, Brandon and Eddy played, and week 3, me and Eddy are playing. So. Somehow,
every episode is going to be a
podcasters.
Banger.
We get to talk about how our games against each other went. So we'll have our own. We had our own round robin in the regular season.
That's actually
everyone is either 2-0 or 0-2 in our fantasy league. So some people really want to die right now.
Can we keep the consistency and have like 0-2ers go 0-3 and 2-0ers go 3-0?
I would love to go 3-0. That would be great.
Actually,
we actually
mathematically
can't.
impossible. No.
Yeah, it's actually because now last week all the 1-0ers played all the 0-1ers, and now all the 2-0ers are playing all the 2-0ers, and all the 0-2ers are playing all the 0-2ers, which is not like a fantasy thing. They like choose who plays, after the weekends. This just happens to be how it got rolled and what happened. So
our draft was also randomized. I think we already mentioned it like in the second week. Yeah, our draft was like randomized, so it also randomized who you go up against in the week. I kind of dislike the fact that I don't get to fight anyone. That's like, I don't get to fight Mario, which is very sad, or Kevin. I'd like free W's to playoffs, please. Like, actually,
their teams are terrible.
They got Shopify Rebellion, bro. A team that I'm putting faith in.
He bet his life on Shopify Rebellion.
I put it. I feel like such a dork, dog. I put faith in Shopify Rebellion, and then they this dude Insanity. I'm with him with like the trash talk, but dog, you were given that win. I don't think you're ever earning a win like that ever.
Yeah, that was a funny interview. Because it was like, oh, this outcome's expected. We knew this was gonna happen. We're not shocked, as he like got destroyed by Immortals the day before, not the week before, the day before. And he's like, nah, we knew we'd be Cloud9. It's free.
You're not allowed to.
Okay, you got embarrassed against Immortals.
You're not allowed to, dog.
It's so funny though. He's like, I don't know, I'm getting interviewed. I played Scion Mid. And then he said, I'm the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Kind of. But yeah, one really nice thing about the week this year this week, we had our first ever Caedrel co-stream, which was nice. We tuned into it because I'm a big Caedrel fan, because I can't stay up for LCK games or LPL games, and God knows I'm not watching LEC without someone interesting in my ear. So I'm always watching his highlights videos, and he's like by far and away the best. Because I mean, I've tuned into LS and I Will Dominate and some of the other co-streamers. He's by far the best one. Obviously, LS breaks it down, a lot of draft, but LS usually has a lot of people in his co-streams together talking with him. So it's more of a conversation amongst them, as opposed to a conversation amongst like Caedrel and chat, which is really nice. But Caedrel's great at breaking down draft. He's always like trying to guess draft. I think he's really funny in his streams.
Yeah.
The downside is he is unfortunately British, but
Yo, we are
you
not
know.
gonna have a British fan base if you talk like this, dog. Like, it's so over for us in the UK.
I don't want a
Yo,
British fan
yo,
base.
Brandon,
I don't know.
not
Get
the
out
Brandon
of
here. The
Get
other
outta
Brandon,
here.
yo, we are so sorry. It's
Yo,
over.
if you're British, close this YouTube stream.
Yo,
No,
Or not YouTube. Close this video right now.
no.
yo, Cadril, no,
Close it.
I think I like Cadril because
Unless you're Cadril.
he,
Cadril watch us.
he's a
Check
flavor
us
of
out.
the
I love
game
you.
that's like he's very funny. No one,
Oh,
no
yeah,
one,
he's great.
no one will ever sit here. Because when it comes to like Twitch streamers, I barely watch Twitch streamers, but
No.
it's the highlights that make it to like Twitter or YouTube that really draw me in. Where I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I want to tune in for this guy, Cadril. Watching him just react to things is so funny.
It's
During
great.
Worlds 2023, I think this dude was the one guy I gravitated towards for reactions for everything. He was the guy I went to after like what is it, the draw show, like the guy that did all the Swiss bracket drawings. Like Cadril was the guy I went to because this dude was literally praying. You could literally see his head, like the top of his head, just praying that matchups would go his way. Like this dude was so happy when he saw NRG like G2, and then cried watching the match. That was funny. LS would just be like, why did they build this item? The percentages, this, and it's like, bro, I don't want to hear the math, bro. I'm here to have a good time. But yeah, you pick your flavor of streamer, and Cadril's him.
Cadril's great. Yeah, no, he was great when I would like oversleep for Worlds games, or I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this like one Worlds match at 4 a.m. I'd always tune into the Cadril stream after. Nice 10-minute video. You get all the best parts of the games. You don't have to sit through. I mean, I don't mind watching whole games. They're not bad, but it's nice to just like, get a good highlights because you pretty much get the whole story of a league game if you cut out parts of minutes. So yeah, you get nice 10-minute videos on what games. If it's like a series, he spends probably like 7-10 minutes per game just breaking down. He usually shows the entirety of draft phase, which is awesome because he'll always be trying to like predict the drafts and explain why he thinks of whatever, or why he thinks this pick is bad or this pick's good, or like whatever angle. And a lot of the times it'll be like they'll pick something he didn't think about, and he'll just say, he'll break down like the thought process behind that, or he'll be confused and then he'll be curious to see how it plays out, talking about after he didn't understand a pick, kind of watch it play out. He'll explain it. Obviously, he's going to be a lot better at explaining it and understanding it than I will. He'll get it quicker, so I can now learn why picks get picked. I don't know. Educational, funny, already has a huge audience, can bring in... Now, talked about him bringing British is a bad thing, but that does mean he brings in Europeans to watch him, so yay, Europeans, please watch the LCS. I do appreciate you for that, because we're dying. Please save us.
But speaking of
we need you. But
dying,
yeah,
I have nothing else for fantasy, but we do have a pretty big section of predictions to, well, first off, discuss and then make.
Well, you're slacking. You're the only one that hasn't done them.
What? Oh
Yes.
my God! Yo, you know what? We'll do this on the fly. All right, you know what? We'll start with predictions for the first week. Right here. I'm gonna do it on live. Y'all can't see it, but I'm doing it live. C9 over Immortals. I don't even want to discuss this. I'm gonna pray Mass gets whatever points he can for me. I expect nothing of him. Just lock in his ear. Just stab people. Make sure you use the Shreeman wall whenever you're in trouble. Make sure you don't die. That's it. That's all I'm hoping for. NRG TL. Oh fuck! Wait, I can't skip through this. This one we have to discuss. This one is. Ooh.
NRG wins free.
I'm gonna give it to NRG. I still say TL needs time to scale. I still think TL needs time.
I mean, I'm just gonna always pick TL any game, so no bias. No bias.
No bias.
You have bias. There's all bias. Wait, both of you. Oh wait, wait, hold on. There's a split. Yo, thank God. Okay. Now we have something to discuss about because Brandon chose Shopify over Dignitas. And Aaron's picking Dignitas over Shopify. All right, hold on. I need to hear the reasoning before I make my judgment.
Oh, okay. I think Shopify. Besides the Cloud9 game, and I just watching that Cloud9 game, I don't think they did anything particularly special. They have looked so bad, like in every game. They look disorganized. Yeah, they might have interesting drafts, and Insanity's always picking something weird, but I most of the time don't see that pick work out as well. I don't hate the picks. I like him picking cool stuff. Keep picking cool stuff. But you know, like as I said, that Immortals SR game was the worst game I've ever seen, and they got destroyed in it. So I think they're terrible, and Dignitas because I think Dignitas is slightly better than terrible. There you go.
Brandon.
Well, I mean, okay, you can call it a cheese pick, but they definitely.
Oh, there's ideas.
Like Fake God did look particularly not the greatest in that game.
No.
I do think he's a weak spot, especially versus Rich. But I do think, like, obviously Insanity versus Dove, I do think Insanity takes the lead, and I think as well as B-Boy versus Tobo and Isles, I do think. I mean, I know some of you guys haven't watched any of the CB LOL or even in LLA games he's been in, but he's definitely been a good player in those, and I think he's definitely better than Tomo in those lanes, and especially I do think he's just gonna either get ahead or scale his way into being stronger in team fights.
Back to the top lane. Let me call this right now. Actually, I'm locking in 2 solo kills for Rich in this game. I think he's gonna pick something weird,
Bet on
something
it,
aggressive. 2 solo kills.
I think I might have to side with Dignitas only because for Shopify Rebellion, their cohesion is very interesting. Like, there's already no identity with this team, so when they pick weird things, I'm already as scared because it's like, you know what? Maybe they're trying to have fun and try things out. I don't know. There's no cohesion with this team. When you start throwing in picks like Zac mid, Sion mid, it's like, do we know what we're doing with these champions in team fights? Or do we know how we're working macro around these characters? Like, do we really know it? Like, to say you know is one thing, because, like, okay, solo queue, I know how this character works. All right, pro play. Coordination. What do we do? I'm going Dignitas.
Okay. See what? They do. I mean, yeah, there's also a thing that they say about what is Merwin on Mad. And that's what Rain said also about him at the same time. But like you can know how to play the pick, but can your team play with the pick itself? Like it is a thing. It can be an issue.
How often have you played with a Sion mid?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I congratulations, like you said, the Shopify Rebellion for getting a W, but like this is. I don't think this is flying against like a team that is actually trying. I really don't think it will. All right, but FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. Wow, it's a FlyQuest winner. Both of y'all went for FlyQuest. What?
Yeah.
They look good.
They look better.
Yeah, they
look. Yeah, you know what?
Fine.
FlyQuest summer wasn't it, but maybe winter is where FlyQuest shines, which is.
This is spring split.
Oh, we're not
but it is
LEC.
it is currently winter, but yeah.
I would like to state, LCS does not have a winter split. It's spring.
No.
Yo, FlyQuest.
You know,
spring.
it is funny because, I mean, just like what, it ends March 31st.
Yeah, a little bit after.
Which is
starts.
just yeah, 1 week of spring and it's spring split. But
Yep.
It's okay.
Yep.
Actually, that's funny because in sports, right, it's 2024 now.
Yeah.
But but for college football, they weren't the 2024 national champions recently. They were the 2023 national champions, even though the game was played in 2024.
Yep.
So
yeah,
it's funny. It's kind of the flip of that because they're the spring champions. They barely played in spring, mostly in winter, but whatever.
I think it's because it's what has already been a part of the system that to change it. And no one really sees a need to change it, even though changing it would make sense. Yeah. Well, that's Friday wrapped up in a bow.
Yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm honestly gonna let you just, if you're doing these live, I'll let you list them off, and you just go. We don't need to bring up mine.
All right, you ready? All right. Team Liquid versus Dignitas. A piece of me wants to go Dignitas to be special, but Brandon's still keeping count, bro. And my red number's going up. The red number's going up, dude. I suck at predictions because I want to be interesting. Yeah, no, I'm just going to give it to Team Liquid. FlyQuest versus C9. I'm not even going to be special here. That's a C9W. Instant. Immortals versus 100 Thieves. Low-key, I'm going to be different. Immortals. I believe. The Great Lakes team. The only esport to be one with the Great Lakes. I believe in them. Edward Raw. The great leader of Immortals will carry us, I believe.
Yeah.
Fuck a dude named Meech. Edward Raw.
No, I love Beach.
I love Meech too, but I don't even hate 100. I don't hate the players. I don't hate the players. I hate the team, but I don't like the players. I hate the team. I like the players. And then NRG versus Shopify Rebellion. I'm gonna go with Big Dokes.
Yep.
For Doke's sake.
All in agreement there.
That's pretty big. Any standout like things happening for Saturday that y'all wanna touch upon with your predictions?
No. I think we had pretty much the same stuff besides you being.
Yeah, I gotta be special somewhere, man. I have to.
I'll say something at the end. Do your 4, and then I'll say something.
All right, last four. Okay, FlyQuest versus Dignitas.
Let's not hesitate here.
I didn't even hesitate. That's just dramatic effect.
And you picked Dignitas.
I took Dignitas there. C9 over TL. 100 Thieves over Shopify Rebellion. And Energy over Immortals. Cash money. Watch all this shit be green by the end of the week.
Yeah, now real quick, for the viewers here, we're keeping track of all the games. We're 16 games in. Now, if you notice how Brandon and Eddy pick, Brandon picks TL every game, and Eddy sometimes gets bored and says, you know what, I want to be different. Yep. Now, I don't do that, and unsurprisingly, I'm winning by 3 points. So
I would like to say Immortals did beat Shopify Rebellion, and y'all thought Shopify Rebellion would win. I was different, and I was right.
You were different,
I'm right.
But not often enough you were right. Yeah. For record, I'm 13-3. They're 10-6, tied. So, once again, I love being right. Now, I was unfortunately not right enough. Stupid Cloud9 and stupid Immortals. Twice have they screwed me.
Not stupid Immortals, smart Immortals. They cooked.
No.
I saw it coming.
Oh my God.
I told you. The Great Lakes.
Picking for this team is so painful because I'm like, oh, Dignitas or Immortals will take over Dignitas, and then they look terrible. And then I'm like, oh, Immortals looked god awful, and Shopify looked god awful too, but Immortals looked really god awful. And then Shopify proved that they were the worst team because they looked horrid. And then Shopify the next day decides to beat Cloud9 for some reason after I mean, I'm trying to go undefeated here, and these stupid low tier teams, Shopify. Literally, by the way, of the picks I got wrong, Shopify is in there twice. I've gotten 3 picks wrong. They're in 3 of the picks. Same with Immortals. Immortals are 2 of the picks I've gotten wrong. I hate picking for these teams. They're choking me. They are literally throwing my games. And
I don't know. You got to put more faith in them.
Whatever. I got a lead of 2. I'll be happy about that. Next closest person is our good friend Shani at 11-5. So good job, Shani. He doesn't troll his picks. He understands. But yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I knew I was never gonna go undefeated. It would have been nice, but that would have been
you would have been cheating.
I would have been.
I hope you know we can check the history on this document and see if you're cheating.
No, if I went undefeated on this, the next day I'm going and putting all my money down on a sports team or something. Right?
He's gonna ride the high.
I'm gonna ride the high and then lose all of it because I'll have wasted all my luck on.
On the off chance I actually go 12-0, yo, I'm celebrating. I'm drinking on the next podcast with the rain.
He's a choker.
I'm a choker.
Oh my God.
Oh.
All right, for context, team. As we're wrapping up for the day, because that'll be the last thing we do, we were going to have a fun surprise, but now...
What if I censor it? That makes it more interesting.
No, that does not make it more interesting. We don't need to censor it. This is an unedited podcast. If you won't take out my horrible intro and my horrible slip up there, you get to ruin the fun for everyone.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's over. We're all choke artists. We're all choke artists.
As we go into the break... after the Super Week, we'll be having our first guest star, our good friend Rain. He'll be joining us. He is, by all definitions, a character, so I'm sure it'll be an interesting episode. But he is also extremely knowledgeable about drafting and the game itself, so it should be a very informative episode, hopefully.
He also says butter chicken every 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, well, he won't be doing that because he will be banned and kicked midway through the show if I hear butter chicken more than twice.
Butter or chicken? I can already hear it now.
Mhm.
But we're excited to have him join us. Has he agreed to it? I
No.
actually don't think so, but
He doesn't
he
have a
is going to be
choice.
joining us because he does not have a choice. We will drag him in here. And if he's not here for the next episode,
He's dead. He's
He's
dead.
dead. And we killed him because he would not join, and that was his option. We gave him two options: join or die. What is that from? Join or die? Is that's the Benjamin Franklin snake thing, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna
No,
just
Oh.
send him.
I thought that was Don't Tread on Me. I thought that was Don't Tread on Me.
No. That's okay.
No, it's a different
Don't
thing.
Tread on Me
Different thing,
also
okay.
has a thing, but that's the Gadsden flag.
Okay.
Join or Die was like the snake broken up into pieces with all the
Yeah,
colonies.
the colonies.
Yeah. I'm just gonna keep sending him that image every time he like says like anything like, "Oh, I'm not gonna join," and I'll be like, "You don't have a choice," and he's like, "Oh, do I not?" And then I'm gonna just like send him
Send
join
the
or
snake.
die. Don't say anything. And then eventually he'll break down and join. But yeah, guest star tomorrow, first guest star. Hope it, or not tomorrow, sorry, next week. First guest star. Hopefully it'll be fun. That'll help us send into a break. Are we going to take a break after Super Week?
No, there's another week.
Oh, there's another week after
I
Super.
think Super Week is the third week.
Yeah, but there's another week. Oh, okay. Yeah, because there's 8 weeks.
It's after the 4th week, I think. Is the
Okay.
because
Perfect.
VCT.
So. Okay. Well, then we'll decide later then. But yeah, guest star. That'll probably wrap us up for the day.
It's pretty
Any
big.
closing remarks?
I got one. Wow, do you have one?
I think it's the same thing.
All right. Hi, Jacob.
Jacob.